I have no idea if this is working, Jay.
Mm. Did you make a new stream?
I believe so. I've got a new one. Try and link that to the other one. I don't think the other one's working for
I have
some
no idea
reason.
if this is working,
All
Jay.
right. Yeah, it's delayed, but it seems to be working. Okay. That should be everything sorted. I hope. I hope. I'm gonna start getting the music playing. There you go. All right. I am going to quickly delete the other one because that one, for some reason, is infected with the ass virus. It sucks ass. I'll make sure to put myself on do not disturb so the live stream isn't filled with Discord notifications going, where the fuck is the stream not working? That is such a bummer.
Can't have a single working stream with you, can we?
I don't know. Blame YouTube for sucking. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let me put myself in do not disturb. Online. Ting ting. There we go. Let me get this on. Hi everyone. Sorry about the delay. That would have been awful. That would have been terrible if fucking live stream went well. If it didn't start sucking ass. I hope everything's working. How's my audio in your end? Is it too loud, too muffled? What's going on? Give me a sec. I'm just trying to get at an angle where I can get my pure ref image not blocking half my screen. There we go. Control. There we go. Alright. Who warring they dogs? I don't know. That was a different time ago. Back around. Audio's good. Alright, that's good. I'm glad to hear that it's not sucking. Anyway, folks, today, like the thumbnail, what the title says, I'm gonna be working on some Resident Evil stuff for the new video. So I'm just gonna be designing Nemesis real quick. So I don't expect to be talking too much during this because there's not really much to talk about. You know, so I'm just here to do my art. Alright, let's just make a base. He does not need that much of a neck. Resident Vile? Yes, Resident Vile. You should definitely get the Resident Evil games. They're quite fun. I was playing the 4th remake earlier today, and it was very enjoyable. There are like plenty of people online that will say like, "Oh, you gotta start with the originals. You just gotta, man." But like, personally, I say either if you want a hard one, just play like the first remake, like Resident Evil 1 remake. The tank controls can be a bit annoying. You can swap them out for like the standard ones, but even then, it can be a bit of a struggle. If you want like a more polished, easier to play one, like as in like it's easier to control, it still is pretty hard. The second remake's pretty good. If you want one that doesn't really take much like thought and it's just a bit fun, the third remake's pretty good. That's the one I've played the most because, you know, Nemesis is in it, duh. But like, it's really not as stressful as the as 2 remake, which is it's a little here and there when it comes to being stressful. It can be very easy. Alright. I will do. I completely forgot that everyone's just seeing pure blackness because my monitor. Let me just copy and paste these two because I've gotten a fairly good idea on what I want from the body for Nemesis, because the video, I don't know if it was very clear by the end because I didn't really bring up much. Initially, I wanted to do a redesign for Nemesis because it was like the last design we had from him is a bit and I was more curious on like, oh, how could you take the original design and make it, you know, a little bit more in line with like the remakes. But then I don't think that would be a very enjoyable video because I don't know, that it seems more like I would be hating on the design. So instead it's going to be going over Nemesis's design, including his original iteration from 1999 to his little revival, his little second chance in the remake. So I'll be covering the artist, the concept art, what they wanted. There was a couple iterations of Nemesis that they had, which were just completely different from what we have now. So I'm hoping that would be a very interesting video because the Resident Evil YouTube channels, any content like that, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief, bit hit or miss. I don't really see many videos discussing like the designs of specific enemies or like the artists of the games. And I'm like, okay, I get that, kinda, but it is like the horror series for video games. It's like, it is right up there with Silent Hill because you can't think of one without the other, so it seems kind of bizarre that there's no good videos on it. And like, oh my goodness, there are so many videos on Resident Evil that is just utter bollocks, man. The amount of AI I see and all this stuff is insane. So I want to make a nice video celebrating the artists of Resident Evil, because no one else is doing it. Should I get the remakes for perspective all the way through, or should I do the remakes here and there? I'm so sorry. I might be a bit slow today. I don't get it. Slain, I was eating dinner, but I have 3 terminus. Have I right? Okay, that's good to hear. No idea where Resident Evil is, but I am here nonetheless. That's crazy. I think it's blowing my mind that you have no idea what any of that means. For real, most RE videos go over the convoluted lore or the real life cultural impact. It's kind of rare that... Exactly. Resident Evil, you type it up anywhere on YouTube, the first thing you're going to see... I don't know why I said that, kind of weird. You're going to see is like the insane lore because of how like... just Resident Evil lore in general, it's so all over the fucking place. So you have to make hour-long videos discussing the timeline. Alright. Which is a shame because Resident Evil has like some of the best and like distinctive creature designs I've seen in video games. And nobody is talking about it. So I wanna talk about it. I really wanna, because each game covers like, you can see the influences of the time. Like, I don't want to spoil too much for the Resident Evil, like the one I'm doing, but if you look at like Nemesis and a bunch of other big creature designs around that time, they were very influenced by like a lot of American media. Nemesis in particular, same with Mr. X and a bunch of other stalker enemies were influenced by the Terminator, which quite cool, very nice to see. Because it was like, oh, the big pursuer guy, he's coming after you. And you can see that in his design, even though the art director for the Nemesis design wanted him to stand out, he still looked at what Arnold looked like in the second game. You can see that in a couple bits of concept art. The leather jacket and the giant leather costume he's got on. All the straps, I mean like... I don't know, I can very much see it. I want to okay, whoa, Bingish 3 Esquire, bugger off, yeah freak, my gosh. Your view and perspective is always interesting to hear, honestly, thank you. Monsters look pretty cool too, please, everyone wants to see you talk about this. No way guys, I will totally yap away. Just want to keep some stuff, you know, secret for like the actual video, because you know, it'll be less all over the place, and also I've gotta get this done. Okay, let me get the actual image of Nemesis. It's not showing up on stream, but I've got a puref file up with like almost every image I can get of Nemesis from like every game he's shown up. Every iteration that he shows up in, his designs are always a bit different somehow, be it like the shape of the head, how they do its teeth. Some of them simplify a lot of details, some of them just completely ignore other details, which can drastically change the design. I completely understand how, because well, you'd expect it, because he's not like a main part in a lot of these games. He's either just a little side character you can fight as, like in Capcom versus Marvel, or same for Umbrella Corporation. Like, he shows up, he's a bit cool, but like, it's not gonna be super accurate. That's why I was a little bit bummed when he showed up in the remake and he wasn't like as recognizable as he should be. Okay. I'm now gonna copy and paste this one over here. Not enough room, so let me lower him down. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to do your standard Nemesis. This is what he looks like in all the games. And afterwards, I can see a lot of important like features that kind of need to be kept, as well as what he is and like what he's meant to be. And like certain things I just can't change, because when you think Nemesis, you think this guy. So we just gotta design him first. Yeah, a darker shade for the mouth would look nicer, so... Cannot forget, he's got like this very odd bottom bit of flesh over his chin. Okay, so if this is his cheekbones right here, this is where his scar would go. Please, everyone. Yep. Oh yeah, I saw my Automaton subfaction post on Reddit, and it's really cool. I did get credit as well as my unpaid worker, Ricky. That's cool. I haven't been on the Helldivers subreddit because... Ooh, it's a bit hit or miss at the moment. I mean, like, I understand people's criticisms on the game. They're pretty valid. It's getting pretty bad. Like, when it comes to, like, the optimization and, like, how the game actually goes, like, how it plays, it's getting bad. And the fact that our head isn't, like, talking about it, isn't, like, discussing, like, oh, we're gonna do a big patch soon, no worries. And they kind of just stayed radio silent. Ooh, that's just not good, man. That's really uncomfortable. I don't like that. That's making me really sad. Because it is a really good game. But like everyone on Reddit, oh Christ, man. I'm seeing some of the worst takes of my entire life on that thing, so I'm doing myself a nice service by not going on it. Background things almost always improve detail. Yes, I do. Agree. Or you know, I'll show it at the end. Show you how close I can get to the original design. Let's get those lovely little staples done. Give him one tooth smile. Yeah, sure, totally. I love that. It's really funny when it's like a character that everyone like thinks is like the coolest guy ever because he's so cool and edgy. And someone in the comments just shows a picture of him with one tooth, and I'm like, oh, is this your goal? Is this the man you guys look up to? Oh, look at him. He didn't brush his teeth. He didn't brush his teeth today. Ooh. I feel more modern designs of Nemesis go for human skull with skin plastered on top, while older ones go for a full human head with gruesome deformations. You're not too wrong. I see for almost a lot of most fan designs for the guy, they do go for like very sunken in cheeks. He looks more like a zombie, which, of course, he's got the T virus. Biot, guys, biot. You gotta look at his original design and see what the creators wanted from that. Okay. Missing anything else? Yeah, right. Okay, there's that bit. There should be a better angle. There we go. Huh. Okay. My favorite thing about looking at any of these old designs, usually stuff where they would still have like the drawn, well, they still do that. I think what I would say is for one of his designs, there's like this lovely photo of him holding one of the characters from the games with his hand, and he's looking up at you, like you looking at him. You're viewing him from like the top of a roof or something, which is a pretty cool angle. I do like that. Because like he's looking at you like you're next. If you look at how his tentacles look, they've got skin overlapping them. While if you look at the cover art or any of the 3D models, they don't have that. Now, you could easily chalk that up to a case of the lovely animators were lazy and they didn't realize and just didn't care. Or it could have just been issues with the technology at the time, overlaying a bunch of stuff like that, especially moving parts like the tentacles around his neck and how they connect. That seems like a bigger hassle than anything. So I can very much excuse that from if it's like something so minute that you wouldn't even notice. Unless if you actually just sit down and stare at the guy. He's also got this exposed bit of throat muscle here. Now, I don't expect them to be anatomically correct for a creature that is going to have maybe 3 polygons dedicated to him, but if they were ever to do a film for Resident Evil 3, I would hope they would focus on some form of realistic anatomy for the guy. Let me re-angle. Let's see if I do it like this. There we go. Okay, so this is your standard Resident Evil 3 1999 design. Let me grab the image that I was talking about. Control C. Let me first make a new layer. Here we go. Let me also move the design up so I can have more room. Is that touching? No, it is not. Okay. So. Oh, shit. Okay, we got a couple comments. Oh, God. Love the music, by the way. Thank you. That is, Silent Hill 2. It's just some background music. I love fan designs, always interesting to see. I agree. I love seeing how many people will interpret their own designs and see what they will do to explore whatever role. It's really cool. I'm a big fan of it. You can get some real bangers from it. What art software is this? Drawpile. I saw Nemesis and got excited, then I saw Resident Evil. Lol. What we doing? Let's go Slime's bag. Resident Evil isn't very grounded. I mean, like, I guess they're not. Yeah, it is quite a fantastical series. But like, if you're gonna base your whole game off viruses and a bunch of other stuff, I don't know. I ask for like a little bit of realism. Like even here, right here, Nemesis, and I think all of his designs, unless give me a sec. Let me fill up. Let me quickly save this before anything. Save. Open recent. Okay, that's not gonna be there. Everyone hold your butts. Yeah, like, alright. Another thing I wanted to bring up, back to the designs of the guy looking different in almost everything. Here, it looks like he has a melted ear. But if you look at the in-game model, he doesn't have one. Also, my whole point about the realism for Resident Evil, it really only comes to if it was to be put into a realistic media, like film or TV shows or anything like that. Especially if you're doing a remake, which is focused on realism. They really emphasize that they use real-world time era gear for that specific period. Leon's wearing tactical gear that would be used during 1990, specifically stuff used during the US. they can get away with a lot more fantastical stuff. I say, even if it's like not very fantastical, because it's a game. You're not gonna want to change the guy's look too much. But when you have stuff like just a red neck piece, oh, I'm not gonna be a fan of that if it's like in a film. Because like, oh, he looks just like how he does in the game, and I'm like, that's good. This isn't a game though. This is a film. This is, you're gonna take me out of it very easily. I love how the music lined up so perfectly. Thank you, background music man. Let me quickly. Okay, so. Original Nemesis. This is what he was doing. This is what bro was getting up to. And this, he's got like more bulbous, round off head here. Alright, that is just not gonna happen because it is not in the same file. Thank you. He's got quite a rounder, he's got all these bumps over his head. He's kind of got like a penis-shaped head. While this is a lot smoother, this is because this design is based off control. This is based off the actual model that was used for the FMV cutscenes. But I tried my best to make a compromise as a bit too much. A bit of a compromise between both the designs. Even if they are pretty much the same, there are a decent amount of differences to where I'm like, okay, he's gonna look different, whichever one I follow. Let me shrink him down a bit so he isn't taking up the whole bloody screen. I wish I could go pay Sliding and coffee. Oh, bro, that's okay. If anyone new is watching this, if you're not aware of who I am, I'm Sliding, and I have opened up my commissions. So if you want a ghoul drawn up, hit me up on coffee. Doesn't need to be like the full body one. I know that can be a bit expensive for people. I'm not saying you guys have to. That's why I did the head bust commission, where you can just spend £15 for just a head, like head to neck. Doesn't really matter what it is, I'll draw it up. Just gotta be a ghoul. Where's the... Alright, I'll do this version of his head. I do like it, really good games, but the lore is very hard to grasp. You're not the only one. Like, oh my god. Oh, Christ, man. When I saw Nemesis, though, I thought you were going to try and interpret Nemesis from Horizon Forbidden West. Gonna sound like a fake gamer here. I've never heard of that. Oh. Okay. I made some new lore for my Crimatons. That's good for you, bro. I'm not saying Resident Evil isn't grounded, it's just that it's very lost. I think I'm gonna assume you said loose there, buddy. Haha. But yeah, you're very right, because you'll have characters who will either be wearing like stuff that is appropriate for the time, or they'll just be wearing brightly colored gear for some reason, even though they're supposed to be like a tactical police force, and I'm like, okay, bit odd. And then you'll have a character having to do other shit using normal guns, and then all of a sudden they have like a real world, a fucking railgun underneath a hospital for some reason. Like, I think Resident Evil is the definition of a mixed bag, because it can be like very grounded, very realistic one moment, and then it can be almost cartoonishly bizarre like in a second, and I'm like, I think that's pretty enjoyable. And I think a lot of filmmakers struggle to try and make it look any good. Resident Evil makes me so angry at times because I'm like, how are you struggling to make this into a movie? Oh my god. That's another rant. Oh my god. Everybody knows you. I posted my 4th faction on Reddit. That's good to hear, man. That's good. Okay, you know, I don't want to leave. I don't want to stay on one design for too long. Okay, so this is. Where is my pen? Let's call this version 1. Let me pack this guy out. Okay. That's version 1. I don't think... Yes, no I did not. So I'll have to either start it over again or just copy one of these designs and draw over it. Okay. You know what, I'll do you and just start chopping apart bits that I don't like. Okay, number 1, big tentacle. You go. Okay, quick little flip. Yeah, no, his head's drooping on one side. That's a bit better. Okay, so some of the main points about Nemesis, especially when you're, well, I'm thinking about the design, is he is considered a prototype. So that means he's not going to be perfect. He's got a little bite, he's got a big old parasite in him. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So whichever way I can show that he's a infected ghoul is always a good thing. In his original design, he has a big old bunch of exposed skin, muscle, rotting flesh, all of that, and it's only been kept together with staples, really, some lovely medical grade staples, which shows that either he gets experimented on a lot, so it's just a lot better to just give him a quick fix than to go for the effort of, okay, let's sew him back up. So you just gotta think about, like, what is his purpose? Of course, he's there to go hunting for specific targets. So depending on that, he's got to be very versatile. So pretty balanced loadout. That includes the gear that he's equipped with. So you don't want him to be walking around too much like a tank, because there's no point being weighed down by all this gear that you won't even need to use. If I start drawing some of this stuff, see how that looks. Okay, let's just flip this over for a little second. Okay. Alright, as I might have went a little too hard on this one. I think I might have locked in a little too much because this one's got the most amount of detail compared to the other ones. Jesus. Ugh. Okay. Vergento. And as we can see here, he's looking mighty necrotic. Now, is this one drifting too far away from this Nemesis? I think so. I might have accidentally given him like this weird smile going on here with its mouth, which is that gives it like too much emotion. That looks like it's smiling at you, which not a fan. So I think the this stuff makes it look like he's got like defined cheekbones and mighty scarecrow vibes. This is, I think, I'm gonna try doing smaller ones, smaller but quicker ones, stuff closer to that scale, because I think I could definitely get more of that done. I think that will work a little bit nicer. Okay. Really quick ones. I do think giving him a more asymmetrical look works better, because Nemesis is asymmetrical. That's one of the lead designers, like the designer, I can't say his name, it's some Japanese thing, I'm terrible with it, said like, oh, I want Nemesis to stand out compared to Mr. X, the previous stalker of the Resident Evil games, before it, the one before Resident Evil 3, to stand out more. So I want him to be more asymmetrical, more cobbled together. So I should stick with that line of thinking. Okay, so Right back to it again with another design. You know what, let's try a different thing for that neck. That. Crazy idea here. Let's see how it turns out. Looks like a Left 4 Dead special infected. Oh, you're probably, yeah, you're, I can 100% see that. I am liking this one here. I think, unlike the rest of these where they're like facing you straight forward, I can imagine this one facing, closer to like this angle, like you're seeing it from the side, and I do like that. I like the idea of having like maybe half the face that's been either like melted off or blown off, so you can like see all the teeth, maybe a bit of jawbone. I think that could be nice. Dog Trio LMAO. Yeah, these guys keep their heads out of the ground. What are you doing? Do you draw with mouse? If so, you recommend that for someone starting out? No, I do not draw on mouse. I have a drawing pad. I like one of your small like Wacom ones. They're pretty good. I highly suggest getting one of these before like trying to draw with a mouse. Drawing with a mouse is insane. Like for comparison, this is like a little smiley face I can do on my drawing pad. This is me using my mouse now. A lot squigglier. There's not really much line pressure you can do with this. I definitely I prefer it. It's all about preference, honestly. I've seen plenty of people who can make incredible art with just a lovely wee mouse. Those guys stun me. Scroll up for my comments. Yeah, so I agree it's a pain. I only use mouse to trace my IRL sketches. Below Zero, you're doing some insane stuff. Alright, Watchmen of Doom. Let's see your fucking comments, man. So I made an FRV upgrade. Extend the front and the back and add bumpers to the front and rear. Then put half round armor panel over the wheels, then add supply boxes of 2. Then add extra armor on the gun turret for the back and extra turret on the driver passenger side up top. Doesn't look like Nemesis. I love your concept on the 4th faction and missions for it. The supply boxes are on the back of the FRV and on both sides. He looking like a Grim Reaper. Well, not anymore. How do you like the new update? Question mark. Not to me. He is staring into my soul. Laugh emoji. Alright, your FRV thing. Not a bad idea. Honestly, I think the only thing I'd actually want added to the FRV would maybe be the supply boxes. Like the mech. If you look at its design in like Blender or anything, you can see that there's text on the knee. Supply boxes. And I think that would be a lot more beneficial for these. I think you don't need 4 because that removes the whole point of the resupply. I think maybe 2. That's the best. I think that's where you should end it. It's just that like little bit extra, which just feels nicer. It's better if you're doing like solo missions and instead of wanting to call down a resupply, you can just use the one in the back of your FRV. And it's good for like high tense situations. I see no reason why they wouldn't add that. Maybe collision issues, maybe. Because like the resupply boxes are always stationary. So that could be an issue. I don't know. All I want from the FRV is to not wipe out my squad. Yeah, exactly. I think, ooh, I mean, like, I would kill for it not to be a huge threat to me every time I wanted to use it. On the other hand, though, I do kind of like the high risk, high reward situation it has going on. Like, oh, you can get to the other side of the map really quickly. Or I could kill you. So, I do kind of like that. Watchman, I am very aware of Iron Sight. Mixed feelings on the guy. I mean, like, I'm all for, like, I'm not against people leaking stuff. It's when it fucking shows up in my recommended when I don't want it to is when it becomes a problem. Especially when it's, like, really big stuff. If it's just, you know, random junk like, oh, here's an unused thing. I mean, like, sure, I don't care. But when it's like a big story thing, I'm gonna be a bit pissed because, like, I would have liked to have not had that spoiled for me. What about the bumpers and extra armor on the wheels? I would only want like the extra armor on the wheels on the APC because they need to be two very different vehicles and they should represent that. The FRV should be a very quick, very fast, agile vehicle. It should almost be like a glass cannon where it can defend itself very easily. It compensates its lack of health and durability with the heavy pen weapon on its back. I think giving it extra protection on his wheels might be leaning a little too far away from that. I would definitely love it on the APC though. Make it like an actual juggernaut, something like you sacrifice speed and agility for more durability and firepower. Alright, I'm gonna start just copying and pasting this. Whoop. Okay. Have you heard about the Bastion tank from Helldivers 1? How do you think it would do in Helldivers 2? I have been begging for a tank for ages. I think a tank would be very useful. I was really hoping they'd add it during the Super Earth fight because I think it would have been sick, man. Being able to just roll down whole streets in a tank. That would have been fire, man. That would have been the shit. But they haven't added it, which is such a shame. I really hope they do soon because, oh my god. Well, first of all, I hope they fix the game soon as a main priority. But afterwards, I would kill for the tank. I think it would be really nice. I think tanks and mechs will always be conflicting ideas in games as they are in real life, because everything a mech can do, a tank can basically do infinitely better. If we just take out the whole realism aspect of mechs versus tanks, you want something. They're both big, heavy-duty vehicles that can be piloted. They both shoot heavy ordnance. So what really makes them stand out? And how can you make these two stand out compared to like Helldivers? Like, What's stopping me from just always picking the tank and never using the whole, using the mech? I think a good compensation for it is it always shoots rockets, always shoots anti-tank, and it's got very heavy armor, but it is quite slow. I think it should also be quite a big vehicle. It should at least need 2 people to use. I know some people might not be a fan of that idea. I am very much am. Tanks in real life need multiple people to use it. The only reason why you don't need multiple people in a mech is because it's designed for 1 person. Tanks never are. They're intended for multiple people to use it. I think that would be quite a very fun thing to do, because it incentivizes a lot more teamwork, because that's what Helldivers is about. It's about teamwork. If you can't work with your team, you're fucked. So you should always rely on your team to help with your own flaws. So I think a tank would be very good for that. It would also be really fun. People have been like hating so much on the War Strider. I'm not too much against it. I think the abundance of grenades can be very annoying. I think a tank could be a very good way to go up against that. Just shooting just fucking heavy rounds. That shit would be sick. It would be the difference between it and like the anti-tank emplacement would be that you can move that. Maybe it doesn't have as much rounds as the anti-tank emplacement, but maybe it does more damage. Maybe it's got a bigger radius when it shoots. You can... I think that would be a good compensation. It can tanks and Helldivers can work very well. And I demand that if you can find FRVs scattered about in colony maps, I should feel the same for mechs, tanks. Come on, Arrowhead, you're peeving me off. It would totally be in an armored cavalry with a tank. Yes. Kind of trivialize most missions, either that or be underwhelming. Maybe they could allow 1 person, but the reload is extremely slow with 1 person compared to 2 or 3. Yeah, see, yeah, maybe. I like how the Jeep needs a teammate. It makes it work. Yep. Anti-grenade trophy would be cool. I think on the topic of like, oh, it's going to trivialize how you play missions. Keep in mind, guys, you pick the gear you want to use. If someone else is bringing it, I don't really think it's going to trivialize anything. It should work similarly to, I want to say FRVs. I don't know if they have the same issue. Same as mechs. You only have a certain amount per mission, per person specifically. So, like, I'd say 2. I think 2 is fair. Like how mechs usually we're used to. You're only allowed to bring 2 per person. It's got a good weight between it. That's like you need the drawback, so you're not constantly doing all this sick shit. Tank would be better for new bugs, and yeah, exactly. Tanks would be very situational for certain missions. You wouldn't bring them every time. You wouldn't bring them for your standard bug missions. And even then, they can kind of work. It's all about how the player uses it. So like I think it would be so fun, because imagine you're playing like you gotta destroy like the spore nest or something, and you're just on you're on like the perfect map where a guy drops a tank, you're getting overwhelmed, you can't see shit, all of a sudden it's like that one movie with the tanks, I know, and you just see the spore nest explode because there's a tank just on top of a hill. That's where your other teammates were. They were getting in good positions and they were just opening fire. Charger coming at you? No. I think it'd be really fun. And also, just because like, oh, everyone can bring a tank doesn't mean they're going to. Like, just because everyone can bring an FRV doesn't mean they're going to. I think tanks would work very. They would just be like heavier, more powerful, slower versions of the APC, which is kind of what a tank is. Anyway, less about that rant, more about me getting this damn art done. We're actually getting... Oh shit, no, we're actually very close to the end of this stream too, so I'm gonna finish off these 2 designs and then I'm gonna call it. think, do I have a good image of... No, I don't think I do. I'd have to go looking for it. There is a image of Nemesis. Nemesis. I said that. Oh, shut up, Ian. Anyway, there's an image of him. It was a concept art of like the full design, and there was some other stuff where he's got like a lot of holes stitched up in him. I think a really nice addition to the design would be this autopsy scar here to show like, oh, they're cutting him up a lot more. I think that's a very easy thing to add. There's like multiple ways to do autopsy scars. I think having one where it's upside down could be very nice. I don't see a reason why not. Because I learned this in college. Autopsy scars, you do a Y shape because it's easier to close up that way. I can very much see Umbrella, the guys who make Nemesis, not caring about whether he looks nice, just doing it however. I think that would be a really nice addition. I'm liking it here. I think this tentacle in the other hand's kind of pissing me off though, so I might need to get rid of that. But I think that's a good way to explain the exposed neck piece here. That it's just that the autopsy scar has opened up due to him moving, because you know, when doctors and morticians are closing up these guys, they're not expecting the guys to start moving. So, you know, you're getting bits that are starting to loosen out, which is not what you want, and that's always a good thing. That's nice. That's nice storytelling just from his design. He's probably got a name, but I don't know. Stuff like having bits of flesh chipping out, which I did for, I think, this design? Yeah. I have no idea what crack I was smoking for this thing. It seems like an edgelord's wet dream. But you know, that's the whole thing when you're designing anything, even if you're redesigning a very beloved character who has like a certain look. You need to experiment. You should 100% just throw it out as a design. That's a crazy awesome detail. Thank you, Below Zero. I see constantly on stuff involving like, oh, the concept art of so and so, and like, what were they thinking with this design? And I have to sit there and not hit anybody, because the whole point of concept art is to experiment. It's to see what aspects of design work and what don't. So you're gonna make a bad design at some point. You're gonna put something on paper, drawn up, doesn't matter. You're gonna do something and you're not gonna like it. You can sit there and kick your feet and piss your pants that you somehow made a ugly fugly design that doesn't work, or you can see why it doesn't work and what not to do. Like, I think here, comparing it to your actual Nemesis design, I don't think the low dead eye here, where you can actually still see the people, I don't think that works at all. I think that makes him too human. Every other Nemesis design has like this ghostly white pupil. I think that works way better. So the eye, I think... Okay, I don't think the eye works. I also think this weird smile it has going on here doesn't work, so the orientation of how the teeth are positioned and how they work, that also matters very well. I also think giving it this extra stitch to where the eyeball is too much. I think it's overcrowding the face. It's having way too much stuff going on. I think having it also like sag down the eye as well, like how it's being pulled down, doesn't work too well either. It's a little smaller face. I wanted it while making this. I thought, oh, I'll have it so like the big tentacles of the parasite underneath are also underneath the skin. So if you peeled back, you'd have like these big tentacles going into his eyes and wrapping around his. I mean, like, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's what I'm trying to do with this. Have it cover up one half of the face, but not as bad as this. I think this exposed bone here doesn't work either. It gives him almost too much of a chin. How just all around the chins here, I don't think work here. You've got like these big pointy chins. Nemesis doesn't really have that. He's got his nice wide blocky chin, and I think that's why I've kind of dropped the whole front facing angle here and stuck with this and messing around with the design here, because this one doesn't really have a pointy chin. Like, it does kind of point out here, but because of the angle you can very much round it out and give it more of this, I would say masculine. I'd say a more masculine, blocky, threatening look to it, which I think looks a lot nicer. So if you're ever going to design anything and you're going to do multiple iterations, understand what you like, explore, and do not be afraid to make an ugly drawing. There is plenty of times where I would have sat down and gone, oh, they all suck, I'll stop. I would have stopped at this one. But you compensate. Oh, I spent too much time on this one, I can't do that. I'll work on a smaller scale and just care about general shapes. Then I explore, then I'm not a fan. I find something that I do like, and then I explore that one. Maybe instead of his noticeable big tentacles that he has around his neck, maybe he's got thinner ones wrapping around him. Maybe he's only got one big one. Or maybe it's the position that I need to change. Maybe it's he still has his two tentacles, but maybe the skin is still underneath, making him look a lot more threatening, giving him a thicker neck. Maybe he won't have. I just wanted to like spit that out, because I know a lot of people that watch my stuff also like doing art. I'm happy for it. I would kill. I think it's just better if someone says this stuff. It's very easy to just see the final product and go, oh, I'll never be like that guy, because they will just never show you any of how much they've struggled. They won't show you all the bad ones they drew, unless if they are kind enough to do that. That's why I love looking at some of my favorite artists. I don't really care. Well, I do care. I'm not too bothered with the final product of their art. I think when I do see it and I'm like, that's incredible, I will always go and look for behind the scenes stuff that they did, because I'm more interested on how they got there than the final product. What creatures, what diseases, what other video games or movies were they inspired by, and how did they incorporate that into their own design? I think that gets looked over very easily for new artists. They would rather, they only want the cool looking monster right away. Crazy, that's an awesome cool Nemesis design. Absolutely no concept art is perfect. It's even in the name. Exactly. I've only recently started doing like this, like just taking an image and just editing it about. I should definitely do that a lot more when it comes to designing creatures. So I think This would definitely have been way more useful during like that little war dog session of mine's. I did do it for some of them. I think for most of the designs, I would just take a silhouette and just start changing smaller things. I think that's always a good thing to do. I definitely suggest everyone does it. It is very useful. Alright, I'm gonna finish this guy off, and then I think I'll call it here because I've been yapping for too long. Grandpa, I'm tired. Well, that's too damn bad. Okay. Okay, I am liking how this arm's looking with the tentacle. Oh, you got the skin stretched over. I like this angle a lot more than the basic one here. I don't think the arm makes a lot of sense if it's like that position. I almost shat myself. I heard my wardrobe move and I thought there was a demon in there. I was actually about to start screaming. Oh my god. Okay, let's double check. I've got like the low poly and game model in Nemesis on standby, so I can always go back and forth to it. I like looking at like the more simple design of them whenever I do any Resident Evil creature, any fucking ghoul. If I'm doing my own little interpretation of a guy, I'll look at like the less detailed one because it's easier to see like the colors and the shapes that everyone remembers and how you can do that while still doing something new. What do you think about my idea? Scroll up and see the comment I made. What about a railgun and sentry to my warbond idea? Maybe there could be a new warbond that could come with tank and booster that would give you the ability to control the tank and FRV better, and a tank commander armor and a tank operator. The commander would be medium armor, the operator would be light, superstore armor, the weapons officer. Not against that. That does sound pretty nice. I I think that idea is actually wow. You're never gonna hear this from me ever again, Watchmen. I think that idea is not too shabby. I think giving you the booster of like vehicle expert or like anything like that could be very useful because you can have like the driver of the team, which I think could be really nice. Maybe it just makes vehicles easier to control. That could be very useful for mechs, bastion, tanks, APCs, anything. That I do like that. I think given like the tank warbond could be pretty cool. Oh shit. Is this? Did I? Yeah, no, I think I did. I think I did. I drive insert a night call here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I do kind of like the idea of having a smaller tentacles kind of just poking out, almost like Las Plagas from the other Resident Evil games. Okay. Is there anything else I'd give it? Super learner's license. I love that. Flamethrower mech is coming soon, maybe. I don't know who told you that or where you got that from, buddy, but fun fact, folks, we haven't had a new mech since a year and a half ago. It has been a full year and a half since we had a new mech. The last one was the Emancipator. Do with that with what you will, because come on, Aaron. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Okay, let's have a looky. I do think big. Oop. Okay, there you go. So, oh my goodness. Scroll up. Bengus is the teacher really said that, or posted it rather. I'm with that. Okay. Oh my goodness. I think I've been streaming for long enough. Right, folks. This has been a lovely drawn sesh. Gonna quickly number these guys. Let's scroll out. What are you? Oh, you're that. Okay, well, let me quickly. One. Te. Actually, no, it would go 1, 2, 3, and 4. I am gonna have fun figuring out which designs work better. I do hope for the video I have it out for the 28th, because that is like the big day in Resident Evil, so I should have the design done soon. Same for everything. Just give me faith, guys. Give me faith. Hope and hope. I will see you, folks, later. Where is the, oh, there it is. Okay, bye-bye.